flag, man. Okay, you guys all read it. You put your name in, and later on put your position. Go from here. Raise your right hand. I, Oliver Starr, do hereby solemnly swear that I support the Constitution of the United States
That I support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially
that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially
discharge the duties of
Mayor, City Councilor
for the City of Gilbert,
for the City of Gilbert,
County of St. Louis,
County of St. Louis,
State of Minnesota,
State of Minnesota,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and abilities.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome.
All right, roll call by the clerk.
Dylan Order,
Present.
Carl Overstar,
Present.
Paul Scribbage,
Present.
Here. All right, we have determination of a quorum set. Council can have a meeting. Pledge, would you all rise and help me open with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
you okay, Mike? Yep. Traffic chair. Not the first time that's happened.
Must have got caught.
Get back.
That's nothing.
Tip backwards or in the forward?
Sideways.
Wow.
Just leaned a little bit and I went over.
Well, I did that the first meeting 3-4 years ago, right here. I got one of those chairs without the rollers at that time. Happens, you know. As long as you didn't get hurt, you okay? Think you're okay?
I'm all right. Keep going.
All right, we got additions. Has you got the additions?
Yes, I do. Under item F. Under H, Paul Skirbick Grant Workshop. And under item E, we do need to, we're not ready for all of our appointments, but we do need to do our attorney tonight, and that will be Trenty.
That's I,
That's all I have.
under I, under H,
No, that's, I put it under E with the annual appointments.
under E, okay,
I just added it on there.
all right. Can I have
Also,
a,
one more item, check register for 1/7/25 through 1/14/25. And this is common for us to add one, by the time we get the agenda packet out and everything, we often have one more to add on. So that's a normal operating procedure.
okay, I need a motion by the council to approve these to the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilor Skirbick, supported by Councilor Dorn to add these to the agenda. All in favor, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay, we have a consent agenda. Council see City Council minutes of December 3rd,
30th.
30th. And do we have the boards and commissions minutes of planning and zoning or none?
There are none at this meeting. We may see them next time.
And this check registers are above and beyond what you just mentioned, right?
Correct, and they're all in the packet.
Okay.
When we get done with the meeting, everybody signs.
These are additional, okay. Okay, approval for Girl Scouts Troop 1230 to use community center. And I guess we're waiving all fees and all that kind of stuff too?
Correct, and they've used it in the past.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I told them, I talked to you and I said, we'll put it on the consent agenda.
Right.
Nice to have them doing it in town.
Anybody that doesn't like anything in the consent agenda can move to take it out and then move the remainder of the consent agenda. Councilor Skrbic.
Just a question on the request for the community center. Do we typically get those in writing or at all, or I think I've seen them both ways where they come in?
We can. It was not a big deal, and because it wasn't, I consulted with Carl and said, are you okay with us putting it on the consent agenda, or would you like it under new business? And that way, it's cold out, nobody needs to show up here and talk to the council, so we just went ahead and put it on the consent agenda. If it were a gambling permit or something that was financial in nature, we would have put it on new business, so that's why we put it on there.
And I'm fine with the location on the agenda. I just, in my preference, and part of a transparency thing, is if there is a request for us to waive a fee, we should at least have something in writing in the packet, just so that, because it is a public document, I think that the public deserves to have that information. So that's just my input on it. So I'm fine with it as it is.
Fair enough, Paul, I reached out and asked, so.
Yep.
But knowing what you're thinking, next time we'll do it that way.
Yeah, and I think you should do it for anybody that wants to rent or lease, that there should be some documentation, you know, and are they liable for something, you know, for cleanup or whatever? I think there's a policy already out there, and I think we should follow it.
And it gives us a policy.
They do a deposit. I know there's for like cleanup and stuff, and somebody rents it, there's a deposit that they put down.
So do they fill out paperwork here then?
I know they must fill out some type of form or something to put the deposit down. And then I know like if Tim, one of the other guys, he goes and cleans up after them, they always usually call it back over here and say, yeah, give me the deposit back, or it was pretty good. But we've never had it where it was really bad. Or we didn't give them their deposit.
So there's this policy in place then?
As far as I know.
Okay.
It gives us a paper trail so that, you know, when it comes back to the next time, we can say, oh, yes, we did this.
We'll make sure
If
they
there's
do
an
it. It's
accident
on
in
me.
there,
I
something
wasn't trying
happens.
to
Yep.
But as
duck
far
it.
as
It's
free
a simple
rental,
deal.
But it's always came to the council.
Yep.
We don't give that, you know.
So do we have like liability when somebody rents it on that building? You know, if somebody gets
Our
hurt in there?
liability covers anybody.
Okay, so we got a blanket liability
Correct.
on all buildings, okay.
Are everybody okay with the consent agenda as it is?
Yes.
Somebody want to make a motion on that?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Moved by Councilor Dorn, supported by Councilor Skrbic to approve the consent agenda. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, public input. Does anybody in the audience tonight have anything they wish to discuss with the council other than what's on tonight's agenda? If so, please come to the podium and turn it on and state your name and your reason. All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Reports by mayor and council. Councilor Ponton, start off with you.
Sam, as long as you're here, is there a schedule for the arena listed somewhere?
Yeah, it should be, I believe Marion's been putting it on the website, or the Facebook page, and then I asked her also to put it on the city website.
Is it also posted on the building? If somebody drove by, they'd be able to find it?
It is down, it's posted on the building inside, down to the police chief might have hung it on the window or something up here also.
Do we open that for public skating only at times? Or is it always hockey?
I always put hockey unless it's like requested, I'll put it down, but, you know, if it gets open for public skating, then you cannot allow sticks or any pucks or anything on there. So, you know, and then all the council wants to move forward.
I remember when I was involved with it, we'd open it for public skating, but if there's no public skaters, well, then the sticks are fine. So I don't know how you guys have been doing
I'd rather
it.
somebody request it, and, you know, that's normally what, it's always, you know, hockey players down there, or sticks are allowed,
But I don't want a public skater to not go down there because it doesn't say public skating, you know what I mean?
I mean, I could put 1 hour public skating and right when it opens up, and then we can do hockey after that. I could put an hour of public skating to
Right.
make sure the rink attendants having public skating.
Right, because little kids, they might be afraid of hockey, you know, going on.
I could start doing that, because I'll get them from Davis, the rec coordinator, or the Rockford Youth Hockey rec coordinator, puts on all the times for the hockey practices, and then I fill in, you know, where we can have open skating, you know, for weekend times and the weekday times.
Is it just,
One more thing, as long as I'm on that subject, is there a reason why that rink attendant drives up his pickup right up to the doorway and parks there all
You
night?
can just park in there. The reason why is because of a lot of the ice falls there. You know, it's not where he parks. Yeah, you can't park close to the building like that, because when the snow melts off the roof, it creates a lot of ice there. And so he kind of parks there, it kind of stops the people from walking right there next to the building, so they don't fall and slip and whatnot. Those ice days. Kind of like he's been doing it. That's, you know, as far as I know, I get down and stop.
Well, I was just curious why he does it. I've seen it for years, and I was just wondering, because you know, everybody else parks where they're supposed to, and then he's kind of doing his thing there. I just needed an explanation why he was doing it. That's all. If it's for safety reasons, then fine, continue, but, you know, if not.
Councilor Skirby, you have a question for?
I just had a question about, is it just the rink in the arena that's flooded, or are we still using the one that's outside?
I haven't flooded the outside.
Okay, so it's just the inside.
By the time we got this one up and running, it was January 1st, and, you know, even on the weekends, there's much use right now, because hockey's fully going on, and there really hasn't been a lot of skaters coming down here on to practice. That's good for the rink either, so.
Okay. It would be nice, just from my input, it would be nice to have an hour for, you know, non-stick and puck.
I'll put it from, I'll start changing that from 1 to 2 open skating.
I agree. We should have some public slots open for public skating.
That's all I have.
Okay, Councilor Skirby?
I guess the first thing I want to do is thank you to the voters back in November for entrusting me to sit here and help serve the city. I am very excited to be here. I have a lot to learn, and I'm embracing that. I would like to thank Chief Kukowski. He allowed me to sit in last Monday at the firefighters monthly meeting. I got a tour of their facility and kind of learned everything about fire trucks, which was kind of cool. Tend to be a very hands-on type of person, and so I fully expect that for the next 6 months I'm going to ask a lot of questions in just about every area so that I can make knowledgeable decisions in the process. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Councilor Skirby. Councilor Dorn?
I just want to say thank you to everyone who voted for me as well.
I've been coming to these city council meetings over the last 2 years, just trying to get more involved in our community in general. One of the big things that I'm hoping to achieve in the next couple of years is just getting more community members involved in general. We have a lot of boards and commissions that are sitting vacant. We're talking about the kiddie parade and stuff like that. I just see a lot of opportunity in our, small city that we can be more involved, and it'd be nice to see more local residents out and about doing stuff. So, again, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Councilor Dorn. I just want to thank you all as well for electing me again in November for my 9th term, starting my 17th year today. I'm more excited a year from now if I live that long. Next January, it'll be 1986 when I sat in the council up there, and 2026, that's 40 years gap in between there. So this is a 39-year gap. Like again, 9th term, 17th year, and 18th year coming up. And as always, I work for the city of Gilbert, the interests of Gilbert, of all residents, for the good and bad. And I'm more than happy to work together with this council, hopefully. We're not going to be probably agreeing on everything, but we can agree to disagree civilly and work for the best interest and maybe come to compromises and other ideas, but work together for you, the people of Gilbert. And that's what my intentions always have been and always will be. And thank you again. And I know I put an ad in the paper. I hope everybody saw that back in November. So we begin. We have reports from staff and board members, commissions. Do I have Fire Chief Kukowski here?
He's normally here. He's not, has nothing for us this evening, so.
Okay.
Chief Teacher is not available this evening. He's out
Okay.
of town.
City Attorney will be a little late, so we'll get him when he comes in. He has some other council meetings, has some big issues he had to take care of, but he will be here. Public Works City Engineer, no, where are we at that? Not clear on that yet.
Well, our city engineer that we're currently working with is SEH, and it's on the agenda tonight to approve their contract for 2025, and they're in midstream and working on our water plant and funding and all the things that go with it, so.
That's another appointment that we were supposed to be making as a city engineer.
Yes, absolutely, Carl.
Oh.
Make a list. Would you like me to go ahead and do that one with the city attorney since we're approving his thing this evening?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Public Works Operations Director, Sam Lotiger.
I don't have too much for tonight's meeting, other than what was being talked about at the working session. Hello? This one lights up a little bit better. But other than snow removal, we're working on that and getting that hockey arena up and running. We were doing that here, and that's about it. Anything else? From council?
Anybody on the council got anything for Sam? I will say that I've been watching some of the meetings on Mediacom, and that Mediacom has rectified the sound, but I have to turn mine up to like 50 or something to get a 12 on the volume. So I think our sound system is working very well, and on TV as well. But you just got to turn your volume up. I'm going to ask back there, can you hear us back there now, Bob? Nothing?
There you go.
Oh, okay, I'll go a little bit back, and there's got to be extension on this thing or something. We'll get used to it. All right. Anybody, again, for Public Works Director, got anything? Campground host, anything?
No, nothing at this time of year.
Library
And
dir-
the city charter calls for many of these people are supposed to present a written report to the council. We don't usually have them all in here. You know, we typically have the chief of police, and Mark always seems to find his way in for something. But other than that, if we have everybody speaking every time we have a meeting, it's not, number one, not necessary, and number two, it'll take all night to have our meetings. So anytime we want somebody to come in, one of the department heads, because we have something to discuss, they're all willing to do that.
Okay. We don't use Zoom no more then, right?
Nope.
Well, we still have a Zoom account, though, for the
I
city.
don't think we do. We were trying to get rid of it, and I wasn't going to pay the bill this time because we have not used Zoom. I think the last time they used it, they had an incident.
Yes.
And we have not been using it since. And most cities have gotten away from it. We pay good money to have it televised on the local network here. It seems to work well and archive really well. So I think we're in a good spot, unless there's some compelling reason to do Zoom. It's a lot of extra expense and stuff to work on for what we're trying to achieve. Because you can't go with the short meeting one. You have to pay for the premium package.
Right.
So no library director here, I don't see.
No.
So, first responders, presentation, nothing?
Again, Mayor, if they have something to discuss, we bring them in.
Okay.
And that's, Mark, when he's here, it's because he has something to discuss. Same thing with every other member. If Ty had something this evening, he'd be here to ask us. So
Okay.
that's kind of how it's been.
Since Brian's here, we'll take our questions for city attorney here. So, you have anything for us? And then we have some, I know some of us have some questions for you, okay?
Thanks, Mayor. I have no formal report, but I am happy to field questions if the council has.
Okay, was it Councilor Skirvik or?
I think that's now on the agenda.
Oh, yeah.
Agenda, so we can-
Or addition to the agenda, yeah. Well, anybody else got any questions for, other than what's on that addition to the agenda that we talked about earlier? Any other items for? All right. Interim Clerk Administrator Mike.
I have nothing this evening, just welcome, and I hope you're all patient and we work well together. Take some time, feel free to send me requests, call me on the phone. Readily available.
Counselors, have anything from Mike?
Nope, I think we've got our email access. I guess the one thing that I would ask is, do we have a standard for what we list on the city website for constituents to contact us? I've seen some have had email addresses, some have had email addresses and phone numbers. I want to make sure that citizens are able to contact us as they need to.
You'd like your phone number and your email on there?
I think,
I'm
yeah,
open to mine on there, fine.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
I think that's what they've done historically, but I've never been to the site to look at the council.
Yep.
I just prefer my phone number, not the email.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I prefer my email.
All right. Nothing else for Mike? Any old business? Mike, nothing?
No, we have nothing this evening.
All right. New business. Number A, letter A, discussion to fill empty council seat posting. Let Mike and the city attorney handle that for us to then discuss.
Basically, we accepted Mr. Pullis's resignation to get anybody who's interested in this position an opportunity. We just need to go ahead and, make a motion for me to post it and tell me when you want it to be done.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes?
There's one intermediate step. At tonight's meeting, the council should make an action or take an action to declare the seat officially vacant. The resignation became effective as of December 31st or January 1st.
January 1st.
But the council has to take an additional step. Within 30 days of the resignation, the council has to declare the seat vacant.
How long would you suggest that we post this for?
It's really up to the members of the council.
No, number one, so we have to make a motion to say that we have a vacancy.
And set up the posting.
Okay, all in one. Or is that a separate issue? Two different issues here.
It should be, I would suggest taking it as two motions because you want the motion or the action declaring the seat vacant to be its own standalone, and then the procedure afterwards to be a separate motion.
Okay. Councilor Skrzyk.
So can you, Mr. Lindsay, can you talk through the steps of the process? I know that we had some, as we updated the charter, we had some minor updates to this section, and I just would like everybody to be on the same page because this is a pretty important decision for us.
Correct. And the reason I seem a bit scattered, I'm looking for the charter provision right now.
How we've done it in the past was we posted it, people apply for it, we post it for 5-10 days maybe in this case, and then we, at the next meeting, we close the meeting and we interview the people in the closed session, and then we make our decision and we come back and we present the person that we think is most qualified for the council. That's all we've done it two times that I've...
Any council member can make a recommendation, but you need if you end up with a tied vote, then the mayor can appoint whoever they want. So it can go either way, but anybody here can make a motion, anybody can second it. If you guys vote on it and you have, the majority, you can do that. If you can't agree, for some reason, then the mayor appoints who they want.
That's on the final vote.
That's when we vote.
On the vote, yeah.
And that's where I want to be very clear on the process. I think what you're talking about is, I think that is an agreement that we can, this is the way we would like to move forward. I think the council certainly has that ability to determine that. But I want to first check in with, what does our charter say in terms of if this happens, what path do we go down? If this doesn't happen, what path do we go down? Because I think that's the very first step that we have to look at.
I've been involved with one of these, 30 years ago. Councilor-elect Tony Kuchever was elected in November. He passed away before January. He didn't get to sit up here. So we had the same problem then, vacancy, and what Brian read there in the charter is that all the remaining councilors with the mayor get to bring a recommendation to the floor, and it could be all four different people, so that's a tie, or it could be 2 and 2 or whatever the case would be, and then the mayor gets to break the tie, and it doesn't necessarily have to be any of the two names that we're bringing up. It could be any other name.
Yeah. And then also,
it was, at that time, it was 3-2 on the person. So
if somebody, for some reason, passes away before their term starts, then you're supposed to hold a special election. So just.
Well, I don't think that was written in our home rule charter. Never saw that in there.
Mayor, if you'd like, I can read the provision from the charter.
Go ahead, please.
So I'll skip past the beginning portion of it that indicates how a vacancy could occur. I'll start about 3/4, a little over halfway down. In each such case, the council shall by resolution declare such vacancy to exist within 30 days and shall forthwith appoint an eligible person to fill the vacancy until the next regular election. If the council, because of equal division of votes, is unable to fill the vacancy, then the mayor shall fill the vacancy by appointment for the time specified above. But if the vacancy is that of mayor and the council members fail for 30 days after the vacancy to appoint a mayor for the time specified above, a special election to elect a mayor for the time specified above shall be held immediately.
So it doesn't spell out the procedure really, how we've done it in the past.
So
And
there's,
we can follow how we've done it in the past or
Yeah.
do it a different way.
and so let me rephrase what you just said so I'm understanding. So essentially, if we have a candidate that is nominated and 3 counselors agree to that, then that is the person that is seated. If we have 2 counselors and 2 counselors deadlocked, then the mayor has the ability to appoint. Okay, thank you.
Just one additional question, Brian, because it could potentially happen where we don't have a majority. Each person could support only the person they like. What do we need for a majority to get approval? Do we need 2 votes? We just need 2 out of the 3?
It would depend on the scenario. So in the scenario that each member of the council would bring forth somebody that they prefer, and each only votes for that one individual, then we would have a deadlock, and it would be a mayoral appointment.
Okay.
Generally speaking, we would need a vote of the majority, which would be 3 of the 4.
You're talking about any other motion that we do here with 4 people attending here until we fill that vacancy? Are you talking about that?
No, Carl.
Okay.
Just curious.
Specifically,
You know, if you all put the name forth and 2 of you said I like him and 1 said he didn't, at that point, would that pass? Or would we need it to be, we don't have a full council, so
No. Even
looking
if,
for the majority is harder to achieve, so I'm just asking what
yeah, I
what
think
the
what you're,
true way is.
I think what I'm seeing, hearing from you, if 3 of us come to that meeting to decide on that and 1 is absent, it's still a majority of 4. We're always a majority of 5, not the number of counselors present.
I don't think we need a supermajority, but Brian?
No, I'm not talking about supermajority. I'm just saying we are 5 here.
I know you're 4.
And anytime we have just 3 here, we all have to agree on
Yeah, and
everything.
you have quorum.
Not just 2 to 1 doesn't work
Yeah.
on anything.
Okay.
It has to be unanimous unless then it's tabled. A majority of 5 is 3. It's
So
not
we only
just,
have 4.
well, right now,
And
right
Brian?
now, because of the vacancy, yeah.
Tell us what's the true way.
So in this case, the majority would be 3, whether we're talking about 4 or 5 council members. Some city charters will insert some language to indicate that you can never reduce the amount for a majority vote. And in those cases, the language would read something to the effect of, a motion or resolution shall be passed by a majority of the they call it the members elect. So basically, that means the total number of seats, whether or not there are individuals seated in them. Our charter doesn't have that language, so a simple majority will prevail. In this case, with 4 councilors present, it's going to be 3, whether it be 5 or 4.
Very good.
So,
Counselor Dorn, is that it? No? Counselor Skrbic?
so given that we know the framework of what is going to be elected, I would like us to go through a process where we set a time period where we receive applicants, and that can be whatever, I think, I don't know if we want to do 2 weeks or if we want to do 30 days or whatever.
24th would work. You got to do it before 30 days, so the 24th would work. That would give 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10, 11 days with the weekend.
Yep. And then, so there's that piece where we receive applicants. Do we have anything that's an application?
We're
Just
using
a
the
regular
standard
one?
city application.
Okay, standard
Yeah,
city
right,
application
yep.
would be fine. And then after we receive those applications, there has to be some sort of review. So I would
Closed session.
okay, is that
That's how we
something
did it
can
in the
do?
past. Yeah.
Is that something that can be a closed session? Is it something that should be a public session?
At this point, if it's the full council, let me do a little bit of research on whether it can be closed. a basis for closing doesn't jump to mind, but let me just double check.
Yeah, we've done it like in the past. I just looked at the meeting a couple days ago for the past, how we did it. It was a closed session.
So that would be the review and vetting step of that, and then there would be, I would imagine we would have to have some public discussion and debate over any names that would be put into nomination, and then a vote.
In the closed session, probably, that would take place.
So I would just like to ensure that every one of those steps is somehow met in the process.
Yeah. I don't know nothing about this close, I never seen a closed session on this, other than other things, legal things.
Yeah, typically dealing with HR issues, that gives you that potential to do that. A counselor is an employee of the city because they get paid, so it's a possibility, but let's let Brian determine whether we can or can't, because I'm not gonna.
No. Okay, well, here we got two things we gotta do. First, I declare a vacancy with the resignation of Councilor Pullis, number one. And then number two, another motion to set the posting for a new counselor and the dates from here to here. And then after we get those, that we can set
Okay.
a special meeting for the other part.
Carl, I just have one concern. I thought we could do this all by motion. Brian is saying that we should do the posting part by resolution, is that correct?
Declaring it a vacancy by resolution.
Okay. So if we do that, we don't have a resolution written up, but it's pretty straightforward. Whatever language you make a motion on, that can be followed exactly. It would be Resolution 2025-2, if that's the way we're going to do it. So it's up to Brian.
Is that okay with you, Brian? Or,
To get the process moving, whether we vote on the resolution tonight or at the next meeting, we'll still be within our time period. So long as we do it within 30 days. We could, theoretically, we could make a motion to that effect tonight, reduce it to writing, and have it signed after the fact, or put it on a consent agenda for the next meeting.
Fair enough.
okay.
So why don't let Brian tell us what the motion should sound like?
Whereas.
I don't even think it needs to be that complicated.
No.
I think the motion could simply be move to approve a resolution declaring the council seat formerly held by Councilor Pullis as vacant.
And I would like the application period to be from 12/14, just today, to 12/27, because our next meeting is on the 28th.
Well, that's the second motion. The first motion right now.
Yeah, I'm okay with you wrapping it up, but it's up to Brian.
All right, the first motion, somebody want to make a motion on that, what Brian just said?
I will move.
A second.
It's been moved by Councilor Skirvik, supported by Councilor Dorn, to declare a vacancy with the resignation of Councilor Pullis as of January 1st, and that seat is now vacant through resolution, what number? 2020?
25-2.
-2.
25-2, resolution 20-25-2. Any more discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Second motion, declaring a posting for the vacancy from what dates?
It could be today or tomorrow. 12:15 to 12:27 would work fine.
Somebody want to make that motion?
So moved.
I second.
Moved by Councilor Skirvik, supported by Councilor Dorn, to approve of posting for city councilor for the period of 12/15 to -12/27 for folks interested to come into City Hall and apply for that vacant councilor position. Any more discussion on that? Councilor Dorn.
Is that application available online?
It is,
Okay. And how can residents and citizens find that if they were to
on
apply?
our website, on our employment.
Okay. Thank you.
Counselor Skrzyk.
Can we, first thing tomorrow, can we put that on the city's Facebook page that applications are open?
I can do that if we are going to communicate with Facebook. Well, we put in place a Facebook policy. This could certainly be something that's a public notice and is an acceptable use of Facebook. So it doesn't matter. We can do that. I'll post it. I will post it in the paper.
Okay.
I will post it on our website, and I will post it on the Facebook site.
This is one case where I would argue more public notification is better.
Yeah, not a problem, Paul.
Any other discussion?
So is the closed session going to be how we're going to do it, Brian, or are you going to determine that at the next meeting?
Brian will let us know before the
Okay.
next meeting, so when I make the agenda,
Yeah,
I
it'll
can
be on
put it
there.
in place.
Okay. Yep.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Approval of SEH engineering agreement.
It's in the packet. They're currently our engineer. We've been working with them. We're working on a huge project, $14 million project, so they're working with us on engineering. It's going up for bid
Well,
right away here, and we just need to approve the engineering agreement that we plan on working with them next year, particularly on large projects where funding initiatives are part of the process. And some of the smaller things, we may take the smaller funding at them, but on this one, we're approving their engineering agreement, which is in the packet.
I read that it doesn't give us a dollar amount. Is it go by the projects or the time, the projects we give them, or just is there? I see they're here, representatives here. Go ahead.
Evening, Mayor and Council. To answer your question, this agreement is the general city engineering agreement, so that's, as you guys call us up and need some work done, that's the day-to-day stuff. If we actually get involved in a project, we'd be standing back here in front of you with the contract for you to review, and there'd be a fee for that, and you'd have the opportunity to review all of that before you approved it.
Okay. Council, I'm okay with this agreement. Anybody else want to say anything or make a motion to agree?
I motion to approve the agreement between SEH and the City of Gilbert.
Second?
There's been a motion by Councilor Dorn, supported by Councilor Skrzyk to approve the agreement between SEH and City of Gilbert and the engineering agreement put forward by SEH and Gilbert. Any other discussion on that?
Just a question.
Councilor Skrzyk?
This looked like it was fairly standard language to me. Just confirm this is basically, it's an extension of the existing agreement. There's no real changes.
It is correct.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next we have the resolution 2025-1, funding authorization for SEH.
Basically, around this time of year, a little bit after, February, by then it's pretty hot and heavy. Our legislative assistants from our elected officials will reach out to us and say, do you have any capital projects that you're currently working on or that you'd like to try to get in the bonding bill or to find funding for? And if we don't have a resolution, that stops the ball, so to speak. So it's a standard thing to do, and we didn't have anything in place last year, so we couldn't ask anybody for any funds for anything because we never put this in place. So we're putting it in place early, and it authorizes them to move forward and look at funding. If we get to an actual project we're looking at, then we would have another resolution passed at the time. But this empowers them to go out and to seek public funding for projects that we're interested in doing. And it's an important piece of the picture. It wasn't done last year. We include this, so when I get a call from Stauber's assistant, what do you have? And I'll say, do you have a resolution passed? And how do you do it? How do you do it? Here's what we're thinking. And we can move forward. So it's just a protocol.
Do we have a resolution to read here?
It's in there.
Yep, 2025-1.
I don't have a copy of that.
It's in the packet, Carl.
I don't see it.
It was after their, it's the last 2 pages, 3 pages.
All right, here we are.
Here.
Okay, I'm going to read that, okay, before we go on, all right?
Sure.
Resolution 2025-1, resolution authorizing SEH Engineering to seek funding for the City of Gilbert to advance the 2025 CIP City Improvement Plan, right? CIP plan as amended. Whereas the City Council of the City of Gilbert has prepared plans for capital improvement program for city streets and infrastructure. Whereas Resolution 2025-1 authorizes SEH Engineering to begin soliciting to find funds for the funds necessary to advance the CIP plan. Now therefore to be resolved by the City Council of the City of Gilbert, County of St. Louis, State of Minnesota, that the City of Gilbert and SEH Engineering can engage in and perform funding work to help us fund our CIP plan. I have read it to the council and to the public. Now we could adopt this, and this is a very important piece of legislation here, and it's going to do plenty good for the City of Gilbert here and help you to get funding for different, what did I see, about $60 million worth of work in here? In
16.
to, in days and years to come, or whatever, months to come, right?
I motion so that we can have discussion.
A second.
Motion by Councilor Skirvik to approve the resolution 2025-1, supported by Councilor Dorn. Discussion. Councilor Skirvik.
So looking at the supporting piece, it's a multi-phase project. I guess and I know that Sam, you were very involved in this, so I appreciate that. The first phase is the one that has concern for me, because I had brought it up in a previous meeting, that those sections, because of the heavy weight of the vehicles that are going on those sections, has that been taken into account with these dollar amounts?
Mayor, if I could.
Sir.
I'm going to take one quick step back. I was remiss when I got up here earlier. I didn't even introduce myself to everybody, so I apologize for that. My name is Matt Reed. I'm a senior project manager. I run the SEH's office here in Virginia, Minnesota. So I've been serving as your city engineer for the last year or so. So appreciate the reappointment, and we look forward to keep working on projects with you guys. To answer your question, yes. The streets that we work on, those streets, there's other streets too that get some pretty heavy truck traffic and whatnot. We'll design those to account for the loads that go on those streets.
Okay. And then my other question is, because it is a multi-phase, obviously we're going to be asking for funding in different chunks. Are there any, what's a reasonable time expectation for the values that are shown here? Obviously, the longer we go, the more construction costs go up. That's a usual cycle. So what is this more like, is this like a 4 or 5 year estimate, or is this a 3 year? Like, what are we looking at for timelines?
Good question. We could do it in 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. I think realistically, you're probably 5 to 10 years to get all of that work done by the time you cobble the funding together and get enough money to help to be able to make it affordable for the city. It's obviously work that needs to be done. As you mentioned earlier, Sam was very, very involved in helping put this together with the knowledge that he has. When we start, say for example, phase one, if we did happen to get a portion of the funding this spring, we're probably still looking at a 2026 at the earliest, maybe a 2027 before we would even start phase one. So it's going to take a little while to make sure that we get the most favorable financing package for the city pulled together. And phase two could turn into phase one. That document is a starting point. So there is a chance that as down the road, things may become more urgent on one of the other phases that require us to flip-flop. Furthermore, the different phases have different components to it, and so they may be eligible for different types of funding sources. And so if certain funding sources become available before others, that may also shift it around. But that's the long-winded answer of you're probably in a 5 to 10 year program if we can continue to get the funding that we need as we move along.
Are these matching funds? Do you have to match anything you get from the legislature? Do you have to match?
Typically, but what we can do is we can use different funding sources to match certain funding sources. So for example, if we had a state funding source, we could get a federal dollars to match those. I'd be standing up here lying to you if I said we're going to get all this 100% grant funded. That's just not likely to happen. But we'll look at everything that we possibly can and do the best that we can to get as much grant funding as we can, with ultimately trying to offset as much of the match as we can.
So,
and then the rest of the match would have to come from
who
city.
determines what phase that they're going to look at as far as the legislature looking at? Do they look at the entire 4 phases, or do they just pick one, or does SCH pick one and say, we prefer that you give this one first a look?
Ultimately, that's your decision. If you'd like to have us do, the plan right now is to move ahead. We're going to get something in quick here. Now, if you approve this resolution, we're going to get something in here real quick so we can get into this round in the spring. And we were planning on going in with the phase 1 stuff. But if you guys tell us now we'd rather have phase 3 or phase 2 in there, we can certainly do that. But we would not go for the whole thing at once. There's a reason that it's phased. So that's a lot of money to try to get all in one fell swoop.
Okay.
And historically, it's very difficult to get money for roads. If you're doing infrastructure underneath the roads, you have a lot better chance of seeking funding. Matt and Sam and I have discussed it. Some of the pieces of this puzzle are just like a mill and overlay thrown in with another one that's changing utilities. So we're trying to slide a couple through at the same time.
Is there, with phase 1 in particular, the proximity of what that is in relation to the campground and recreational facilities and mineland reclamation properties, is there a possibility of some of that going through, getting a portion through, say, IRRB and a portion through the state bonding process?
Yep.
Okay.
And typically what happens, Paul, is we'll get some money from the state, and then we'll start to search for other sources. That could be a Landon Foundation. It could be IRRB. Sometimes it could be a USDA thing. So, we have to get the big amount first and then try to fill in the spaces.
Thank you.
A little off subject. What happened with the FEMA? Did we get any money from FEMA for that flooding we had this summer?
We have not gotten any money. We have sent in the second appeal.
Oh, second appeal we're at. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I think this resolution is very good. What I see of your plans and your phases, I haven't really dissected it too much, but I see, for starters, it's real good. And it's about time we get something like this going. And they're not going to get any better. And it all depends on funding. Again, funding. and how much we are willing to do, because we had to have some skin in this game too. And that's the two assessments if have to be, or whatever case be. But I'm looking at what you had here. They've been on the table for a long, long time as needed. And I'm glad they've been put on the table here in this resolution and your map here. So I'm looking forward to getting to work on this thing. All right? Right now, we're going to agree for the resolution, so authorizing SEH to go out and look for this funding help so we can tackle these issues. And we just may have the motion already set, and we know, any more discussion?
Motion is second.
Yeah, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Yep.
Is, okay. Training for wastewater treatment plant operator for 1,000, Mike.
Basically, they all have to do continuing education and training. He's ready to do some this year. That's the cost of it. There's money in the budget for that too, but it's significant enough that we usually bring those in front of the council. And he's ready to go with this. We have to keep our certifications up, so it's really not, it's not an option. It's something that needs to happen.
Yeah, I'm open to that. Something that we typically do here, allow our employees to get this training, and it benefits the city of Gilbert.
I move to approve funding for Justin Remian to get his certification.
I'll second.
Motion by Councillor Skirvik, supported by Councillor Pontonen, to approve this funding for the wastewater treatment plant operator, Justin. Been here a while and needs some more training, and for a cost of $1,053.89. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Annual appointments for the city services.
So, because we don't have the council filled yet, Carl didn't want to appoint everybody because he wants to be able to choose who he's going to have where. But we did add our law firm and our engineering firm to this tonight, so we would like to move forward and approve Trenke Law Firm and SEH Engineering appointment for 2025, and then we will, once we're full, we'll get a list of all the other people.
Yeah, we gotta do it one at a time. I'm okay to appoint Trenty Law Firm as city attorney services law firm. Somebody want to make, motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
I second.
Moved by Councillor Pott and supported by Councillor Dorn to approve Trenty Law Firm as our city law firm. Any more discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Move to approve city engineer, SEH Engineering.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councillor Skirvik, supported by Councillor Dorn to approve SEH as city engineering. Any more discussion on that?
Discussion, they wanted it for 25 and 26, not just the 1 year, so are we approving for 2 years?
I don't know if we can do that. It's charter does it annually, so. All right, it's annual appointments.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
So generally the rule is if it's an annual appointment, the council can approve a contract that would set terms for 2 years, subject to reappointment. So it
Okay.
would be, the motion would be
Yeah.
that the contract could be approved with the contingency that it be adjusted to be annually appointed.
We already approved the contract. We did that a little while ago, approved the contract for 2 years. We did that already. So, we either, we're gonna do it automatically again next January anyway, this appointment part of it.
Yeah.
We already approved that 2-year contract prior. So, we're just gonna go through the motions next January to approve the city engineer. So we're okay for the 1-year appointment then? Councilor Ponda?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Well, we don't know, we had the motion already.
Vote on it then. huh?
Moved by Councilor Skirvik and supported by Councilor Dorn to approve SEH as the engineering for this year. Vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say nay. Motion carries. Let's get the check registers.
We already did that
When
when we did the
The addition?
consent agenda,
the additions were, you got the additional ones?
the one that we added, yeah. That's all taken care of in the consent agenda. We added it to that.
You added it to the consent
You guys made a
agenda?
motion
Okay,
and
all right,
voted on it.
yeah, all right.
That's how we've been doing them.
I know
It's
the other ones
historically how
were
you
in
do it.
there, but you had 2 more added.
No, I added one more, Carl.
Oh, okay.
So one more appointment we should consider, since we're going to be publicizing the vacancy for the council, is we should designate our newspaper service or media service
Oh, yeah.
to allow them to be able to do that.
I know. Can we make a motion to add it to the agenda again, right? Even at the
Brian?
10th hour, 11th hour?
Okay with waiting for our appointments before we choose our publishing source, or?
So if we don't designate a new publication, it would continue until the publication is designated.
Recertified.
So,
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
As long as we're good using the same.
Well, put it on the next meeting.
If we're prepared with all of them, we should do them all at once, if that's okay, but we can do it any way you want. This list of annual appointments usually happens.
No,
in
I'm
one
talking
document.
about that newspaper.
Yeah,
All right.
as Brian said, though,
And the
So
Gilbert
we're
Bank.
fine, we're fine for him to publish the ad, and we're still legal
Right.
and compliant.
Well, I have to say, put it on the next meeting for a vote.
sure.
Yeah.
Also Gilbert Bank, right? That has to be voted on
Yeah, but
Yeah, so
again, that would be,
next meeting.
right, that would be,
Right, next meeting.
we're still compliant, so.
Yeah, depository, yeah.
There is a big list, so.
Yeah, okay.
I talked to Carl about it earlier, and because we don't have a full council, he wasn't prepared to do them all yet, so we'll get them all together, and they'll all be comprehensive in nature when we get done.
Okay, campground rates.
All right, so this, again, this was basically taking off of the campground host recommendations, plus the additional need for city revenue for the budget to adjust for the levy. And so those items were listed in here. They are site-specific, and basically they're increases of $2 or $3 depending upon what site type. And I think we covered everything in the work session for the discussion. So,
So I would like somebody to make a motion besides Paul.
I motion to approve the 2025 campground rates.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilor Dorn to approve the 2025 campground rates for the city of Gilbert, second by Councilor Pottanen. Any more discussion?
request a roll call.
Any more discussion?
I was just going to ask if we have it posted yet for a campground attendant. Where do we sit on that?
Well, we have 3 applicants.
Oh, there are, okay. So that'll be
We
handled.
need to establish that. And typically, that would have been done by our personnel committee, which we do not have set up yet.
Right.
And they would have made a recommendation to the council. I think it's imperative that you move forward with it
Right.
in short order, so it should be on our next meeting. If you guys, if we do end up in a closed session, we can discuss two things, counselor and a campground manager, but it needs to happen because we're at that time.
Right. Yep.
Yep. All right, any more discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Counselor Dorn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Oberstar, yes. Counselor Pontonen?
Yes.
Counselor Skirbeck?
Abstain?
Motion carries 3-0. Counselor Skirbeck abstains. Motion carries. Counselor Ponton, Mayor Oberstar, and Counselor Dorn vote yes. Okay, what else we got under there? We got, Paul, you got one more thing here?
Grant workshop for Paul.
Yep.
Okay, grant workshop for Paul to attend for $99, I believe the number.
Oh, yeah.
I just need a motion to,
I motion to approve Paul to go to that training.
I'll second it.
Moved by Counselor Dorn, supported by Counselor Ponton to approve the $99 to approve, was it any counselor actually, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Just
I mean, anybody that wants to.
anybody on the council, correct?
fair enough.
You amend that, okay with
I
that?
amend my original statement for any
Yeah.
counselor
Yeah.
to receive training.
Second, okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. I don't see anything else miscellaneous. Nothing else? Somebody want to move to adjourn?
I'll make that motion, adjourn.
I second.
Moved by Counselor Pontus, supported by Counselor Dorn to adjourn at 7:04. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.